Like, the fact is, when you've got your coach saying she's very limited is not a good sign. That is not a good sign at all, especially when it comes to, like, it doesn't seem like she has an injury, it's just tightness, which could genuinely come down to her being obviously, again, her trying to ramp it up, and if she's put on a lot of upper body bulk, that could affect it. A lot of things. So you see here, the Fever are being super cautious. The Fever coach Stephanie White says she's making great progress. This is from Chloe Peterson at the Indy Star. I assumed, is there anything else we've heard? Limited in practice? No, it seems to be, it says they haven't specifically stated what injury she's working back from. Science point to be something muscular. Clark spent some time in the stationary bike and she was out of the game. Stationary bikes are usually used to keep muscles warm and keep the blood flowing, which prevents stiffness and cramping. She's also, I just saw that Kelsey Mitchell's injured. I gotta look more into that before talking about it. But a lot of people were joking about how Caitlin Clark is running. A lot of people were joking about how Caitlin Clark in their training practice footage, how she is running, the speed she's kind of going at, and they're like, oh, I've heard people saying she runs like an old woman, and I'm like, well, clearly there's something bothering her. And again, I think she's going to be good day one for the season. I don't think she plays on Saturday. Like, the fact is, when you've got your coach saying she's very limited is not a good sign. That is not a good sign at all, especially when it comes to, like, it doesn't seem like she has an injury, it's just tightness.
All right, everyone, grab your ice packs and comfort snacks, because Coach Stephanie White just dropped some shocking news about Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell. And let's just say, this season isn't exactly off to a smooth start. If you were hoping for calm, think again, because this update brings more drama than an overtime buzzer beater. So, what's the latest? Who's injured? Who's frustrated? And why is everyone suddenly whispering about a WNBA injury curse? Things just got a whole lot more unpredictable, both on and off the court.
Got the most thorough update that we have directly from the source in Caitlin Clark, talking about the left leg injury, the tightness she has been dealing with, but she downplayed it. Didn't seem to be too concerned with it, said maybe too much time in the gym has been led to it. Said you just got to be smart, has to be smart about recovery.
Caitlin Clark limping off the court, just days before her highly anticipated showdown with Angel Reese? No, not today, basketball gods. Definitely not today. Somewhere in Chicago, you can almost imagine Angel Reese grabbing some popcorn and settling in courtside, watching the drama unfold like it's a Marvel movie premiere. And who could blame her? The WNBA was on the verge of its biggest rookie rivalry since, well, imagine Britney versus Christina if they played power forward and drained step-back threes. But just like that, Caitlin's ankle had other plans, forcing her to sit this one out. Now, with anticipation sky high, fans are left wondering, will this injury shake up the entire game plan?
Well, there's another story that doesn't make you go, aw, and that is the update on Caitlin Clark from Fever practice, head coach Stephanie White. Now, I'm not going to blow this out of proportion because this is normal run-of-the-mill stuff, but it's certainly worth covering and certainly worth following. So we know that the Fever, out of nowhere, we got the injury report on Caitlin Clark before the first preseason game against the Mystics, which she missed. It caught us all by surprise because there was no indication there was anything amiss.
And who delivered the news? None other than Stephanie White, head coach, injury update source. And now, unofficial dream crusher. She stepped in like the Grim Reaper with a clipboard, calmly dropping the bomb, there might be an issue. Her words were simple, but devastating. Fever fans were left dreading the worst. And the calmness in her voice? That only made it hit harder. She confirmed the possibility of a serious injury, and you could almost hear the collective groan echo through the arena. In an instant, the mood shifted. Anxiety replaced excitement. Hope still lingered, but it felt as fragile as a house of cards in a hurricane. Now, everyone's asking the same question, what does the future hold for Caitlin Clark, and for the Fever season? If you're standing with Caitlin, subscribe to the channel and drop a CC as the GOAT in the comments below.
So today, lads, we're going to be talking about Caitlin Clark and the injury. The injury that Caitlin Clark has had, that she may or may not be may or may not be ready to play.
Before everyone spirals into full panic mode and starts organizing candlelight vigils for Caitlin Clark, let's all take a deep breath. This might just be a minor tweak, a precautionary hobble, a harmless limp. Maybe her shoe was too tight. Or she stepped on a rogue Lego. Or hey, maybe she just needed a quick breather from carrying the entire Fever squad on her back all preseason, because, let's be honest, she's been doing exactly that. A little rest never hurt anyone, right? This doesn't look like a season-ending disaster. So let's stay calm, skip the emergency press conferences, and remember, sometimes a small tweak is just that, a small tweak.
Okay, so first off, let's talk about Caitlin's injury, because this is just something we should just get off the table. And in practice yesterday, she did bump knees with one of the guys that they were playing a scrimmage with. A lot of people started crashing out because, her health is of the utmost importance to so many people and, so many games and possibly even the whole league.
Of course, in classic sports fan fashion, Twitter exploded faster than a microwave burrito at 3 a.m. loud, chaotic, and absolutely drenched in desperation. Within seconds of Caitlin Clark limping off the court, the internet transformed into an unlicensed orthopedic clinic, with everyone suddenly diagnosing injuries like they'd binge-watched half an episode of Grey's Anatomy. One tweet dramatically declared, "Caitlin's done for the season," complete with a broken heart and 3 crying emojis. Another joked, she tore her ACL, her MCL, and probably her Netflix password too. Someone even chimed in with, "Angel Reese wins by default," like the outcome of the game was being decided by Twitter polls and hot takes. But let's pump the brakes. Karen from Indiana City, no need to sound the alarm just yet. Caitlin's injury? Just a minor ankle tweak. No spinal damage. No catastrophic blow. Just your average athlete's twist. She'll probably walk it off like a boss, not be airlifted to Area 51. Let's give it a minute to settle. This isn't a Greek tragedy narrated by ESPN's drama division. Injuries happen, it's part of the game. But this is just a small bump in the road. A little patience and perspective go a long way.
When I'm in practice, I'm full go. I'm not limited in any regard or whatever drills I'm in. The last 2 days I've been pretty active, and there's no reason to overdo anything right now. It's been the beginning of the season. Still don't play here for another week, but the last 2 days have been really, really good for myself.
You know where it started? What caused it to get her in the
I don't. Probably just a little too much basketball. I think, I love being in the gym, but I think understanding when to be in the gym and when to recover and things like that. So I think just finding a balance and obviously just getting back into the swing of things. But yeah, it was nothing major.
Now let's talk about this Fever versus Sky rivalry, hyped up more than a Mayweather fight. On one side, you've got Caitlin Clark, the basketball prodigy with a shooting range so deep it might require a telescope. On the other, Angel Reese, the self-proclaimed Bayou Barbie turned Windy City enforcer, radiating confidence like a cat in a room full of rocking chairs. If these two had promo trailers, they'd make the Avengers look like a low-budget indie flick. This was supposed to be the game, the WNBA's version of Taylor versus Kanye. Except with rebounds, steals, and fewer microphones getting snatched. But now? There's a real chance one of the stars might be sitting courtside in an orthopedic boot, clutching an ice pack, watching her moment slip away. The timing? Couldn't be more dramatic if Shakespeare himself had written the script. Caitlin finally makes it to the big stage. The lights are bright. The popcorn's popping. And then, bam! Ankle betrayal. Like training 4 years for the Olympics, only to slip on a banana peel at the opening ceremony. Meanwhile, Angel Reese is probably in her living room doing defensive slides, whispering, "Come on. Be okay. I want the smoke." This rivalry was supposed to be legendary. Now, it's hanging in the balance, depending on how quickly Caitlin can recover. And how much fight she's still got left.
Rob, Caitlin Clark sat out the first preseason game because of some tightness in her leg. She played the second game. You can tell she wasn't 100%. She wasn't moving as quickly as she normally does, but she played fine. So she isn't that injured. But there's some caution based upon what Stephanie White had to say. She was limited in practice.
It's Fever injury update day. That seems to be the major concern around the team right now is the health of its star players. Obviously, Caitlin Clark being at the top of that list. Kelsey Mitchell, though, as well. And we got a little bit of a status update on both of those players from Fever.
Concerns with Kelsey's finger. She seems fine with it and just playing through it.
I forget about Kelsey's finger because, she was playing great with it overseas, too. Certainly, You know, her shot's a little funky in the way that it releases anyway, and I think that she's learned to protect it. So for her, it's like she's efficient, she's effective until she starts complaining about it hurting.
Which could genuinely come down to her being obviously, again, her trying to ramp it up, and if she's put on a lot of upper body bulk, that could affect it. A lot of things. So you see here, the Fever being super cautious. The Fever coach Stephanie White said she's making great progress. This is from Chloe Peterson at the end.
But then there was the injury report, says questionable with the left leg issue. She winds up missing the game. Clark chalked it up to tightness in the leg. She plays the next day at Iowa. Of course, you know, a significant game for the preseason considering what it meant to the fan base there. So she probably pushed through maybe a little bit more than they would have had that had been any other game. But nonetheless, a solid indicator that there's nothing really wrong and it's not overly concerning. Mouth, obviously, she's playing in the preseason game too. If it was overly of concern, she would not be playing in the preseason game. There is no reason for her to be out there if there's a problem at all that could be exacerbated, especially with the regular season opener just over a week away right now. So hopefully this is the last we hear of it. I think she said, I feel really good, honestly. And honestly, of course, we all hope that continues to be the case.
I'm looking through, I'm trying to find any of like the Fever aggregation accounts, and I mean, they're just showing the Scott Agnes clip of Caitlin Clark kind of moving and relocating, but she looks okay. She looks okay. Like, she's still moving okay, getting in and out. And again, like, you might be saying she doesn't look as fast as normal, but she still looks